We're just back from the Eastern Front line in this ongoing and intense conflict, and the situation there remains very difficult indeed. Our team was in the trenches alongside Ukrainian soldiers operating an artillery unit. Their material dated from the 1970s, from the Soviet Union, and they say they are struggling to get enough ammunition for that. They're worried about that as they head forward into spring and into the summer, when they would hope to be going on the offensive. At the moment, they're trying to hold the Ukrainian line in the face of waves and waves of Russian soldiers, men advancing, which they see with drone technology. So that push very much underway, they say, and they are firing thousands of shells every day to try and hold the line. Morale remains quite high, I would say. They say they know they're in it for the long term, but they are worried about the lack of ammunition. And lots of them saying they haven't seen any American or Western donated weaponry yet. One senior commander in the East told us that around 3/4 of the material they're using still dates from that Soviet era. And we know there are supply line issues with getting enough munitions for that. So it's urgent there for the men in those freezing conditions, which frankly resemble something out of the First World War there on the Eastern Front.
I've seen figures, Catherine, that something like 5,000 to 6,000 shells are being fired by the Ukrainians on a daily basis, around the quota a small NATO country gets for the whole year. So you have Jens Stoltenberg calling for new arms to be sent quickly, new ammunition. But that's all right saying that. What's the spirit like on the ground in terms of that mentality to keep going for the Ukrainians?
So there is a war fatigue setting in amongst some of the soldiers we've spoken to. I mean, they're determined to hold their ground because for them this fight is existential. It's about keeping their country, so they know they must continue in this grinding artillery war, which is what it principally is for the moment. Amongst the people of Ukraine, again, this determination which we've seen for the past year. The visit of the US President Joe Biden was a massive boost for people here psychologically. It's difficult to overstate that. And actually, some people have told us that, you know, they no longer feel afraid in the way that they did coming up to the 24th of February last year, that this year they're determined to carry on. They know they have the support of the Western allies and Europe. They want more. But also it's brought them together and mobilized Ukrainian society in quite an incredible way. We're still seeing these massive aid efforts of people coming together and getting food, medicine, shelter, warm clothing for Ukrainian troops at the front line, and people still evacuating people from those hardest hit areas. So 1 year on, this is a country that remains galvanized, but they know they're in it for the long term. They don't see, many of those that I've been speaking to, this war ending anytime soon.